Michael Chandler talks about switching from Conor McGregor to Charles Oliveira, what the process looked like, and what it means for his career. Since the cancellation of the Conor fight and the subsequent announcement of the Oliveira rematch, stakes have changed for Mike's next Octagon appearance. The red panty fight turned into a #1 contender bout against an opponent that presents a higher degree of danger in the Octagon, and of course is a tougher matchup for him, having finished him in their first clash. Islam Makhachev's enthusiasm for a potential fight with him is also something that makes Mike's chances for another championship opportunity greater. Islam has stated that he would like Chandler to win. That way, a fresh contender with a considerable name in the division would be available, giving him a better option than fighting another rematch after the Sarakian fight. Chandler describes the process of the Oliveira rematch being made, speaks about his mindset for this clash, and sneaks in a prediction of knocking out Charles.
The UFC said, hey, Oliveira's ready to fight. If you want to fight, let us know. And they said, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yes. I've bet on myself my entire life. I bet on myself walking on to the University of Missouri. I bet on myself leaving the relative security of Bellator and coming over to the UFC, knowing darn well that I could crash and burn here, and this would not turn out well for me. I'm going to go bet on myself again. I'm betting on myself to go beat out Charles Oliveira. For the Conor fight to still be there, if it is, it isn't. Or if it is, or if it isn't, I'm fine, because I beat Charles Oliveira. I fight Islam or Arman in 2025.
Has that been promised to you? Is that in stone? You win this fight, you're #1?
It's a #1 contender fight. That's what Dana announced. Dana announced it whenever he got on his social media and said, hey, this fight is happening November 16th in a 5-round co-main event, #1 contender fight. So that is from the boss's mouth.
Chael Sonnen discusses Dustin Poirier's next fight and who the opponent might be. The Diamond's recent proposal of a tournament in the lightweight division, including himself, Justin, Max Holloway, and Dan Hooker, sparked excitement in fans, as not only this would give us great matchups culminated with a BMF fight, but the concept of a tournament itself is wholly new and would add to the intrigue of this type of a showdown between 4 fighters that have the most fan-friendly fighting styles. Dana's brief approval of this idea caught many off guard, as he expressed interest in the concept, but didn't commit, and no subsequent comments about this have been made by the UFC. Temporary retirement seems to have proved boring for Dustin, as lately he's been increasingly more frequently expressive of his desire to come back for his next. In his latest interview, the former interim lightweight champion stated that he wants to fight at least 2 more times. Chael Sonnen comments on Dustin's future in the sport.
Justin Gaethje is but let's push Justin aside, because Dan Hooker also fits that criteria. And there is good reason where they would revisit that for Justin's way out. But I will tell you this, if you were a betting man, you would be very wise to bet and handicap that Poirier does in fact have a fight. That there is news coming out soon. And you're safest to bet that that's against Gaethje.
Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen react to the potential fight between Conor McGregor and Dan Hooker. While the Irishman's recent behavior indicates many things, least of which is his comeback to competition, he still promises fans that soon he will in fact return to the octagon, and he has a new opponent in mind, Dan Hooker. The Hangman is coming off 3 consecutive victories, and considering his striking-heavy fighting style, he's a relatively good option for Conor, considering all the other lightweights at the top of the division and how they match up with McGregor. In one of his last interviews, Hooker hinted that the Conor fight might be a possibility, and after their recent meeting in Spain, which took place at a BKFC event, Conor told reporters that he is fighting Dan Hooker in February. If true, this is an interesting development, and assuming McGregor makes it to the octagon, the clash certainly promises fireworks. Chael and Daniel share thoughts on this.
To dancing with the schmo, to saying to double the pay of every fighter in the bare knuckle, he seems to be everywhere. But in the midst of all that, Chael, like through all of that chaos, he calls out Dan Hooker.
Yes.
He calls out Dan Hooker.
Yes.
And we're not going to have the same conversation. We're not doing the is Conor McGregor going to fight again. We're just not doing it anymore, because at the end of the day, we've done it. And we kind of came to the conclusion a little bit ago that it might be over for McGregor. So we're going past that.
They just like each other, they get each other. So Conor called him out, told the world about the fight, and is trying to pursue the fight to actually help Dan Hooker, because Red Panty Night is still real. And I only have to tell you that because, no, Dana's not doing this. They don't even have a show on the date that Conor called it out for.
Wait, he said a date? Yes, he did. He said February 1st in Abu Dhabi, of which the UFC is not booked. So, I mean, this was really just kind of talking.
Their friendship is over, reports Russian media about Dana White and Islam Makhachev, after an alleged heated conversation Dana had with Islam's manager recently. The current pound-for-pound number one has faced some difficulties lately. Most notably, he suffered an injury that significantly delayed the timeline of his next title defense. While it's no secret that the likeliest next opponent for him is Arman Tsarukyan, no specific date or event has been announced yet in relation to this matchup, though Islam has repeatedly stated that he's looking to come back, either by the end of the year or early next year. But while the fans won't see him in action very soon, the lightweight champion has managed to keep himself in the headlines, especially after Dana's rants about how Jon Jones deserves to be ranked number one instead of Islam. This sparked heavy debate among fans and analysts who tried to compare Islam's recent activity to Jon's general history. Well, even before getting officially ranked, number one, Islam was vocal with his frustration about not having that status, going as far as accusing UFC and reporters of discrimination because of his Russian citizenship. Eventually, he got ranked at the first place, but Dana seems to not have forgotten those antics, as he continues to bash the rankings system with nonsensical arguments, like his disagreement for Khalil Rountree's ranking. One of his main criticisms continues to be the Jon Jones ranking. Makhachev hasn't been a fan of this, has made numerous comments about Dana's Jon Jones rants. As Russian media channel Low Kick reports, Dana's friendship with Islam is over. Quote, on Monday, the head of Khabib's management team, Rizvan Magomedov, spoke with Dana White and expressed Islam's frustration with Dana's constant negative commentary on Islam's pound-for-pound rankings. As Rizvan later told us, Dana wasn't interested in the discussion and just told him that Islam should stop crying about that. It's a matter of an opinion. End quote. Dana White discusses possible solutions to what he thinks is a broken pound-for-pound system of the UFC. Dana's frustration with the rankings has not been a secret for the fans and the community for a while now, but lately, he's been spending more and more time speaking about the topic on post-fight press conferences while visibly upset. On the last presser, Dana revealed that he will be pitched on a new ranking system, and he hopes a solution can be found so the power is taken away from media members. What exactly would this new system look like? Dana didn't say, but he was quick to assure reporters that he wouldn't be the one in charge of ranking fighters himself. Dana believes that this will not have a significant impact as he still makes the fights that people want to see.
I can't handle incompetence. I can't take it anymore. It's driving me crazy. And I can't let people that I don't believe know what the fuck they're talking about deal with the rankings anymore. I just can't do it. I have to figure out a solution. Tomorrow I have a meeting with a group of people that are coming to me saying they have the solution to this problem. And God, I hope they're right, because I'm gonna change it. The media will no longer control the rankings in the UFC. Hey, Dana, shut the fuck up and fix it. Stop bitching about it and fix it. That's it. So we're gonna figure this thing out, and the media will not control the rankings anymore.